We all know that conditions are pretty rough. Bad economy, terrible entry-level workplace requirements, hundreds of applications for a lot of people just to get like a couple responses. How are we supposed to live? How can I even save money? I'll put a timestamp on screen if you don't want to hear me talk about why I even came up with this idea in the first place. So we've all seen the true story. The system that once worked for like the past 50 years no longer works. Incentives are lower than ever, wages have barely improved, everything's expensive, and for most of us, houses are out of the question entirely. All the while, work expectations have stayed the same, or in some cases have even increased. You want kids? Good luck, dude. That's an estimated $300,000 from birth to the age of 18, not including college. And even the cheapest states here in the US still have that figure sitting around $200,000. Nowadays, most of Gen Z is entirely detached from their workplace so they can allocate their energy towards something they're building on the side, a business, or maybe a YouTube channel, or some hobby that could help them survive. I don't think workplace detachment or being uninvested in your job is necessarily a bad thing. It's a natural result of the living conditions these times have presented to us. I have not personally tested this plan yet because I'm still in the early stages of it, but I genuinely plan to, because it seems like the most logical conclusion based on the factors I have to live around. However, it's going to be extremely uncomfortable and stressful. This is min-maxing Gen Z life, highest possible cortisol levels in exchange for a chance to actually live the American dream we were all promised, or just to not have to worry about money in general. Now, there are some prerequisites that need to be met. Firstly, living with your parents or just somebody that can take care of the bills while you get on your own 2 feet is pretty much essential. I'm going to be 20 this year and I still live at home for this reason. This really is like the only prerequisite you need to get yourself started. From there, work whatever job you need to, slash want to, slash can afford to. I work fast food making minimum wage in my state, which is $15 an hour, and even I can save up crazy money here at home. I still buy myself pretty much all of my own food and water, and don't have any wholesale stores near me for actually decent prices. The nearest Walmart is like 30 miles away. Next, you're going to want to get your driver's license. Just basically practice driving, take the test, get your license. I also recommend that you cut whatever addictions you might have before you consider this plan of action. Addictions are dangerous and expensive. I'm personally nearly 2 weeks without caffeine and I've been struggling through it, but we're still going strong. Then you're going to want to get a vehicle, and this is the expensive part, obviously. Be willing to save up at least 5 or 6 thousand, and we're going to be looking at vans. I'm sure a few eyebrows just raised, but stay with me here. You're going to want to look at used vans that have a lot of space in the back, like those cargo vans, optimally without windows. And don't worry, these only require the standard driver's license. And you'll be sleeping here eventually, so you'll want to find something that meets your needs. I'm a 5'8" short king, so I don't need a ton of space. Obviously, try to get as close to 100,000 miles as you can. If you want to save up even more to try to get the lowest possible mileage on the vehicle, that's totally fine. Just make sure to pay the vehicle off in cash, in full, no loans. Now, once you have your vehicle, you're not going homeless just yet. If whoever's paying the bills allows you to continue to stay there and save up more money, that's the optimal situation. Maybe try to scout for the best paying job you're willing to work. Anyway, maybe get a small mattress to put in the back of your van, maybe some lights and stuff, a rug, a heater for the winter, a hot plate to cook on, some silverware, a small fridge, etc. Just make it cozy and livable before you move out. But how are you going to get power? You have a phone, maybe a laptop, maybe a fan for air circulation, and that heater too, and that fridge. You definitely can't constantly run off the car battery, so what's the plan? Solar energy. Very expensive, even still nowadays, but it's the best option. You can put panels on the van itself, like on the outside of the walls of the van or the roof, and if you get a fair few, you shouldn't have any problems with power. Obviously, get a battery bank to store excess power for days where it's cloudy or stormy, like you could have them all plug into one of those solar generators. You could even devise a system where they track the sun so you'll get extra power there too, but that's for the more crafty folk and it's not necessary. Now, how will you shower? Get a 24-hour gym membership. Not only will you have access to the shower, but the gym too, if that's your thing. And how about going to the bathroom? The local restrooms, mostly, unless you're comfortable doing things the more natural way. And food? Just buy it. You'll have the money for it, I promise you. Basically, you are now homeless but still have a place to live, with your car insurance payments as the rent. So, what does the math look like here? Let's say you get $700 each paycheck after tax working fast food, equating to about $1,400 per month. That's fairly reasonable. I get more than that right now, so I'm lowballing it. Let's say your car insurance payments on the van are pretty expensive, like $250 a month, to be harsher on ourselves. That leaves you with approximately $1,150 at the end of the month, and now you need food and water. Buying water in bulk is obviously the best option here, and is actually relatively cheap. A 24-pack of 16-ounce bottles where I am goes for about $6, maybe a little more. And you could get an even better deal buying something like a 36 or a 48-pack. Let's say you drink 8 bottles per day if you're really thirsty. Buying a 24-pack would last you 3 days, $6 or so every 3 days. You get paid every 14 days. Let's be harsh on ourselves yet again and say that you're spending $60 a month on water. You're now down to $1,090. What about food? We're going to be eating healthy, which can be more expensive, but good thing we have a van to drive ourselves to a Walmart or some other wholesaler to get better deals. Let's say you're an absolute glutton and spend $200 per week on food for yourself. Again, being very, very harsh on ourselves here. That's $800 a month, but you're more likely to actually spend closer to $500 or $600, maybe even less. Assuming prevalent gluttony, you'd be down to $290. Assuming you have a normal calorie requirement, it's probably closer to like $490. And let's say you had to get a new license plate. Now you're down to like $260. You dropped or lost some of your groceries. Make it $200. Again, assuming you're gluttony incarnate, you'd still have $100 or $200 left at the end of this, but let's try not to be too crazy with the spending. Just know that there's wiggle room, alright? And from here, we'll assume that you're somewhere in the middle, so you'd have about $250 left. I also realize you don't need license plates every month, but for the sake of caution, we'll include it. Boom. Your needs are met, and you have money left over. But what will you do if your van breaks down? I mean, it's very unlikely to happen before you've amassed a good chunk of money, assuming you got a van with lower miles. So you can go get it looked at and fixed by a mechanic, or learn to fix it yourself to save money. If you choose to have a mechanic look at it, you can stay in a hotel until it's fixed. Again, while it's expensive, you're very likely to have the money to afford it, and you can continue the cycle from there. Over time, you'll amass money. Eventually, you might even be able to afford a nicer van if you want, or maybe you'll use that money to build a business, or a YouTube channel, or focus on a hobby. It's entirely your choice. As for me, I'll be focusing on my programming stuff, so as long as I can afford a new computer before my laptop becomes scrap, as it's surely destined to because of planned obsolescence, then I'm good. I might also just use the rest of my money after that point to give to people in need, and I recommend you guys do the same. Just, again, be kind to people, please. Some people really need it, and you don't know who's had a bad day. Like, seriously, all it takes is just a small thing, and their whole day will be made. God bless you all. I'll see you later.